I know I haven't talked a lot recently about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and to be completely honest and just, forthright about it, it's because I'm not that passionate about the game. I actually played it, I did try and enjoy it. I have mentioned things that I like about it, believe it or not, but overall, I think it's kind of a disappointing continuation to the legacy of the universe that came before it. I think that the story is mediocre. And I think that the gameplay, while fun, it's not something I really want to engage in for more than an hour at a time. So I'm coming at this from the angle of somebody who did, whether I guess you could say fortunately or unfortunately, have the experience of playing the game. And I have been Let's Playing it on Degenerate Plays, my Let's Play channel, in the description. I also am somebody who is open to some games as a service games when they're done well. You have examples like Fortnite. You have examples like Helldivers 2 recently. But unfortunately, you also have a myriad of bad examples of this type of game, and I think Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is one of them. So one of the things I wanted to look at today is the angle of, can this game actually be saved? It's a question I asked about the original Avengers all the way back when they were making that game. And unfortunately, if you remember, or fortunately, depending on how you feel about it, it never really was. It just kind of crashed and burned, fizzled out, and all the storylines were left unfinished. So we're going to take a look at that today. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. You can probably tell I'm still a little sick, but I'm doing my best. It's why video output has not been as high recently, but feeling a little better. So all the normal ways to support the channel are in the description, and our Fortnite creator code is something I'll flash in the, in this video a couple times as we talk, so let's hop more into it. But something that a lot of people were disappointed about with Suicide Squad was just the fact that it is in that Arkham universe. It is a continuation of it. Now, people can headcanon it out, people can say, I don't accept it. I know I hear that kind of stuff all the time, and that's fine, however you want to feel about it. But at the end of the day, it's an officially licensed WB product that they say is a continuation of the Arkham universe. So when people were going into that, there were a lot of shoes to fill. And this game has been just kind of plagued with a lot of problems. From the fact that the Justice League itself was treated pretty disrespectfully, all the way down to the fact that even if it wasn't, it'll just be a cop-out, which is, I think, kind of one of the main things I want to talk about here, because Season 1 of their post-launch content came out. It has the Joker, or should I say the giggler, the prankster, the goofball, if you will. It's not the Joker that we know and love, and you know what? Thank God they didn't try and bring him back again, because I know they would have ruined the Mark Hamill Joker if they had done that, if they had brought back the Arkham Joker. But it's essentially a mini story following Joker from an alternate Earth in the multiverse. A lot of people already rolled their eyes, and I can feel it through the screen. And he is a survivor of his Earth that Brainiac destroyed. Now, this is an idea for sure. I don't know if I'd call it an interesting one, but you know what? A playable Joker is usually a fun time in video games. So from that aspect, cool. The problem is the character design of this version of the character is, it leaves a lot to be desired. Cool suit. He's got some riz going on the suit, but overall he's like the skinniest little guy ever. There's not a lot of character to him going on, and he's not necessarily impressive. So from a visual standpoint, he already wasn't impressing when he was announced. And then I think the fact that when they actually put this in the game, it was impossible to connect to for a long time, which I'll show you here. I had this error over and over and over again. For a games as a service is not a great thing. But then, when you log in, you're immediately welcomed pretty much with a thing saying, hey, you can buy him. Like as soon as you go to the store, if you check out the store for the new costumes, which somehow new costumes were a selling point of the Season 1 pass, not even being in the pass, but in the store. Well, when you get to that store, you're immediately greeted with a screen basically like, hey, if you want to play as Joker right now, you can pay 1,000 Lex coins or whatever to do that. Otherwise, you can play through his story and unlock him. Now, I know that it's a games as a service game, and I know that games keep doing this, but when your whole game's, marketing was around, we're going to give you all this free stuff for games as a service. Don't worry. We're not like other girls. And then you're immediately greeted with, but do you want to buy him? It's not a great look, especially after being met with like 15 server crashes and not being able to connect to it. Which, speaking of those server crashes, this game still does not have its offline update. I don't really know when they're doing that. Maybe they did announce it and I missed it. I guess I can't really be bothered to wrap my entire self-worth up into this game and like study online announcements 24/7 around it. But it's still not here. And that's kind of something that I think would have really helped this game. That's something that would have really helped bring this game back in terms of like into the good graces of normal people. It really should have launched with that on disc. It should have launched with the ability to play the story offline, and then if you wanted to connect to the internet to get more cosmetics or check leaderboards or whatever, or play multiplayer, right? Because obviously it has co-op and stuff, that's fine with me. I don't really care. You know, on my Let's Play channel, Degenerate Plays, I've been playing through the game with Nate. We're playing it co-op. Of course, we use the internet. One of the big criticisms I always see is like, well, don't you have internet? Why don't? What's the problem with an internet connection? Why you like Fortnite? I mean, what's the problem? And it's like, yeah, I understand that there's going to be things that involve the internet. One of the best parts of the Arkham games is that on disc, yes, you didn't have the DLC, but it was a complete game start to finish with or without any internet. You know, you just pop the game in, you play through the story, you get a great gameplay experience, and you're done. Or you replay it again. And that's just kind of a standard video game. Unfortunately, we moved further and further away from that. And when it comes to this game with the whole internet connection, I do think it would have gone to appease a lot of people, myself included, if on disc when this launched, it had an offline mode where you could play through the entire story. It had a robust amount of content. And then, like I said, you want to connect to the internet to get DLC costumes like what Arkham did? Fine. Or you want to connect to it to play co-op? Fine. I don't care. That's whatever. That's where you can tie in your games as a service elements. And I don't think I'd really care that much. I think it's unfortunate we ever had to go this way, but whatever. Fine. They don't do that. The game is still always online, no matter what. You know, as of late March 2024, we're already going into April, and it was pretty much months of radio silence where like people were just kind of like, okay, well, this game is out. They said they're doing DLC, you know, like, or a season expansion or whatever. I guess you can't even really call it DLC anymore because it's games as a service. So they just drop in new stuff. It's not official DLC you download necessarily, but you do because you have to update the game. So, you know, like when the game, I'm losing my train of thought because it's just so kind of annoying in general, the way the game is structured. But essentially, like, I wouldn't care if the internet element was there if it wasn't necessary, okay? I think a big problem a lot of us have with this game is that it is. And that's just from a gameplay connectivity standpoint. When you actually move into, like, what you're getting through those elements, it's not good either. Like, one of the selling points of this season was, hey, there's new stuff in the store. That's not really a great selling point. And when you actually go and look at these cosmetics, the ones in the store and the ones in the battle pass, they're not very good. There was one cosmetic I actually liked, which was for Harley Quinn, and that was a Wonder Woman fangirl outfit, like where she dressed up in a Wonder Woman fan club type Justice League homemade outfit. It actually was fun and it looked good, and I used one 1600 credit thing that they gave me for free back when I bought the game and it had so many server issues to get that skin. Because I liked it. I thought it was fun. I was like, oh, this is cool. But something I noticed in the store is that, like, certain characters are neglected. Like, Deadshot didn't get anything in this season so far for the store. Other characters in this season just look bad. And then when you go over to the Battle Pass itself, yes, there are some free items, but the way they made it sound before was that there would be like a free track and it would have a lot of stuff on it. And then there would be a premium track and it would also have a lot of stuff on it. And you'd pay for the premium track. But most of the content is just premium. Most of the content is just you need the premium battle pass in order to get it. And the only things that aren't premium kind of suck. All of the costumes in the battle pass, by the way, are horrible. Outside of one, which I thought was cool, which was for King Shark, where he looks a little more techy and stuff like that. But everybody else, I think in their tech costumes, their Wayne Tech stuff, this is not impressing me. It's just bland and boring. It looks like it's trying to be a weird spin-off costume of Mortal Kombat, but like in the modern Mortal Kombat era, and it's just falling flat completely. And speaking of modernity, modern eras, however you'd say it, it's easier to type. The Harley Quinn stuff is still bugging me. Now I know this is where it's like Jay's not escaping the Coomer allegations, and like fair enough, or the gooning allegations, and whatever. Feel free to feel how you want about it. I couldn't fucking care any less. I just think it's funny at this point. But when it comes down to it, Harley Quinn in the Arkham games was a pretty, flamboyant character with her personality. She was very out there. She was a little flirty with the other girls. She was obviously all over Mr. J. And you know what? She wasn't really afraid to put a little skin on display when she wanted to. And you know what? Other times she didn't as much. She went through a lot of really fun cosmetics. I know there's this modern lens BS of like, well, actually they were against women because she showed skin and blah, blah. I don't fucking care. At the end of the day, she had some fun costumes. The problem is, when it comes to this game, they pretty much just slap her in a turtleneck whenever they can and call it a day. And like, they're like, that's it. I mean, they even had the audacity at the beginning of this game to have her look at her Arkham Knight suit and like slam her locker in disgust and go like, get a different outfit and be like, isn't it time for a more modern look, everybody? There's so much crap in this game that's very clearly motivated more by like personal ideology than storytelling, than character consistency, and then actually working in the Arkham world. And that's something that is continued in this. Like, her costumes are terrible outside of the one Wonder Woman one, which was fun. And her best costume in this game is only good because it uses the corset from the original Arkham Knight outfit. Other than that, it's pretty much a censored version of that outfit with way more clothes. And so something I'm noticing, moving on in this story, moving on through this game's life, is that none of that stuff is really changing. Like, the criticisms people have of the game, it's not like they're being alleviated. Like, people saying, oh boy, I can't wait to go fight Brainiac 100 more times. Well, the season drops and it's just fighting Brainiac 100 more times. Oh boy, I can't wait for, new, what do you call them? New effects on my weapons. Oh, it's new effects on your weapons. Like, yeah, there is stuff here, but like none of it really feels like intentional content. It doesn't feel like when The Witcher 3 comes out and it drops a huge DLC, right? It just feels like they just threw stuff in here to be like, look, more stuff. Now, I'm assuming you either don't care about story spoilers, or you played the game, or you had the unfortunate, experience of watching me play the game, although my Let's Play's not at its end yet. But, something that the game does, which is funny to me, is right when you boot it up, it does spoil the end of the base game if you haven't already played it, telling you what happens, actually. So that's something, that's an interesting choice for people who are waiting to play the game until more content is in it. That's kind of funny. And so overall, kind of wrapping this up, something I do want to say is that, like, I understand that there are other games similar to the style of this game that I like, but I don't think this fits at all in the universe it's in. If it wasn't in this universe, because I've seen people say, well, if it wasn't in Arkham, would you like it? I would think it was mediocre. Like, it would be fine. I don't think it would be memorable. I think the reason it's tied to that universe is so that people would play it, but I think it backfired in a lot of ways because of decisions with story, design, the world, ideology, inserts, self-inserts into the story, all this stuff that, we see a lot of now, that I don't think helped the game at all. The online is pretty much forced still. There's still no offline mode. There have been a lot of story leaks. I still am always hesitant to say what they are, because WB has a hard-on for, like, giving people copyright claims and, like, flagging their videos to take them down. But I will say this. Something that people have known for a very long time is that there's an implication in this game, and whether or not it's in the leaks or not is up to you to determine from my statement, that this might not be the real Justice League, that this is a false Justice League, like, essentially clones, and that we'll see the real Justice League in the future. My thing with that is kind of twofold. Like, you can fix all this stuff, you can add the offline and everything, but you still have your base story, and the base story was still just okay. It was fine, and it was filled with a lot of edgy moments. Now, here's my question. Was it edgy just to be edgy? You know, was it edgy just to be like, now you kill your favorite hero, haha? Or was it edgy for a bait and switch, which is also just for the sake of being edgy as well, in order to get people to talk about your game? No matter what you do here, you know, like let's say you reveal the real Justice League later and you bring them back, well, then it was edgy just for that bait and switch and for the sake of being edgy. But if you don't do that, at least you committed to your bit, even if it was a shitty bit, right? I don't really know which of those is worse or better. Like, do you fix it and bring, you know, they were clones or they were fake or whatever, and now the real Justice League is back by season 4, if we even get there, because this game's player base is not exactly doing great. You know, like, do you bring them back and then it's like, well, they're alive again? I guess story-wise, at least you fixed that, but, like, it's still boring. Like, it's still very obviously something you did to shock people and upset them, either way. And I think that's a big problem I have with this game is, like, you can fix all the gameplay stuff, you can add offline, but at the end of the day, the story is still what it is, and I'm, like, torn between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, I want to hear the rest of Kevin Conroy's lines. He's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be crass, but, like, he passed away. It's tragic. It's really sad. I want to hear every voice line the guy's ever recorded, because we're never going to get any more, you know? So, like, if there's a real Batman out there and he's going to come back in season 5 or something, right? I want to hear what Kevin recorded for that. And maybe he saw the story outline of the entire game and thought, oh, this is really fun, and maybe there is more to it. And so from that standpoint, I'm like, okay, well, I want to see that. But from the other standpoint, I'm kind of sitting here like, well, no matter what you do, I feel like you made such weird choices with this game that nobody's really interested. I mean, yeah, there's a few people on Twitter that, like, get really angry whenever this game is questioned. They're like, how dare you hate on this game? How dare you not, you know, consume this game? But, like, the reason people are so passionate about this game in particular, and the reason why they have so many problems, is because they loved what came before and they wanted it to be good. And I think that when it comes down to it, it's like, I want to hear the rest of the story because it was already recorded, I'm sure. But, like, I just don't care. Like, I just don't really feel like I care about the story, and nothing here is really bringing me back in to make me care. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm interested to hear your thoughts down below. Right now, this seems to me like it's following a similar pattern to Avengers. You know, where, like, they added all the wrong content at the beginning, and then by the time they finally did things like the movie suits, which this game neglects doing and won't do, and probably won't do because Harley shows too much skin in her Suicide Squad outfit in the movies and stuff. But by the time they did that stuff, the game was dead, you know, and, like, nobody wanted to play it anymore. And so it's like it just kind of fizzled out. And to me, it kind of seems like that's the direction Suicide Squad is going. And even if it's not, even if we get 12 seasons of content, are you really excited to fight Brainiac over and over and over again, fight clones of the Justice League over and over again, and then get to the point where you can go talk to Flash in the Hall of Justice as an NPC like Destiny? Or would you have rather actually played a game as superheroes? Played a game as the Flash? Played a Justice League game? Played a complete game? Played a game where you didn't have to wait months and months for the game to actually be done? Because that's kind of where I'm at. There's really just nothing here impressing me. I'm just disappointed. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. And, you know, let me know what you think. Playing through the game on Degenerate Plays. We got new products over on CosmoBunny.shop, I always say. You know, repurposed comic book and manga coasters, keychains, trays, all kinds of stuff. Also, handmade jewelry. Lots of lovely stuff over there. And we have been doing new videos over on our channel, Magical Jill. We've been getting more into anime. We've been making some Dragon Ball videos, some more Sailor Moon stuff, so that's in the description as well. And finally, if you want to join a awesome community, we have a Discord community in the description down below. Sometimes we do giveaways, all kinds of fun stuff there, so we hope to see you there. Have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shway.